U.S. may ease tariffs on India. India's chief economic advisor, V. Anantha Nageswaran, said the U.S. is considering reducing the 25% penal import tariffs on Indian goods, possibly bringing them down to about 10-15%. This follows ongoing positive trade talks. Markets respond to Fed rate cut. Indian stock markets opened higher with IT stocks leading gains, following a 25 basis point interest rate cut by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The Nifty 50 and Sensex both rose. India's food grain stocks hit record levels. Government rice stockpiles have reached a record 48.2 million tons. Wheat reserves are also at a 4-year high. With export restrictions on rice lifted earlier this year, India is expected to export a record amount. Rupee ends lower as investors gauge Fed outlook. The Indian rupee weakened 0.36% versus the US dollar following the Fed's move. Analysts are looking for support and resistance zones. 1. Sovereign rating upgraded by Japan's RNI. Japan's Rating and Investment Information, Inc. (RNI) raised India's long-term sovereign credit rating from BBB to BBB+ with a stable outlook. The upgrade reflects confidence in India's strong economic growth, domestic demand, and fiscal discipline. 2. UNESCO adds 7 natural heritage sites from India to tentative list. India has added 7 new natural heritage sites, including the Deccan Traps, Megalayan age caves, and others, to UNESCO's tentative list. With this, India now has 69 sites under consideration. 3. Stock markets dip, Adani shares rise. India's major indices, Sensex and Nifty, fell 0.4% after recent gains. Meanwhile, shares of the Adani Group saw strong gains following SEBI's rejection of some of the allegations made by Hindenburg Research. However, other investigations into the group remain ongoing. 4. Diplomatic concern over Saudi-Pakistan Defense Pact. India has voiced expectations that Saudi Arabia will mind sensitivities after it signed a defense pact with Pakistan. The pact states that aggression against one signatory will be treated as aggression against both. India is assessing implications, especially given regional security concerns and its own diplomatic ties with Saudi Arabia. 1. Mumbai gets India's largest cruise terminal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has inaugurated the Mumbai International Cruise Terminal (MICT) at Indira Dock. The terminal, built under the Cruise Bharat mission for about 556 crore, covers 4,115,000 square feet, has 72 immigration check-in counters, and can accommodate up to 5 cruise ships and about 1 million passengers annually. 2. India's foreign reserves crossed $700 billion. According to the Reserve Bank of India, as of the week ending September 12, 2025, India's forex reserves rose by about $4.698 billion, pushing the total past $700 billion to $702.966 billion. This gives India a significant buffer, roughly 11.5 months of import cover. 3. Veteran actor Mohanlal awarded Dadasaheb Phalke Award 2023. The legendary Malayalam film actor Mohanlal is the recipient of the Dadasaheb Phalke Award for 2023. He will be honored during the 71st National Film Awards on September 23, 2025. Prime Minister Modi lauded him as an epitome of excellence and versatility. 1. PM Modi announces next-generation GST reforms. From 22nd of September, India will have just 2 GST slabs, 5% and 18%, under the new system. Essentials and everyday items will fall under the lower rate. PM Modi described this as a major reform intended to benefit the common man, middle class, farmers, women, and youth. 2. H-1B visa fee hike by the U.S. causes concern amongst Indian tech workers. The United States has imposed a much higher fee on new H-1B visa applications, $100,000, which has sparked anxiety among Indians aspiring to work in the U.S. The hike does not apply to renewals or petitions filed before the policy change. Indian political leaders have criticized the move. 3. Make in India. Swadeshi push intensifies. In several speeches today, including PM Modi's address, there was a renewed call for citizens to prefer locally made goods over foreign ones. This ties into the GST reforms, self-reliance, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and broader trade tensions. For example, Modi urged people to get rid of foreign products and emphasized strengthening domestic manufacturing. Trade Minister Piyush Goyal to visit U.S. for stalled trade negotiations. India's Trade Minister, Piyush Goyal, is headed to Washington on the 22nd of September to advance talks on a long-stalled trade agreement with the United States. Key issues include U.S. tariffs on Indian goods, visa policy, notably H-1B, agriculture, dairy access, and concerns over Indian exports. Number 2, Bihar launches 1,300 urban development projects. The Chief Minister of Bihar is set to inaugurate 1,300 urban development projects across the state. These projects are aimed at improving urban infrastructure, enhancing public amenities, and modernizing services for better living standards. 3. Bad air season begins in North India. Delhi still clean, for now. With the stubble burning season underway in states around Delhi, 64 farm fires have already been recorded between 15 to 22nd of September. Experts warn that while Delhi's air quality is still good currently, changing weather, wind, or more fires could cause rapid deterioration. Early preparation and monitoring are being urged. 1. India to hold its biggest drone and counter-drone exercise, Cold Start. India is organizing its largest ever drone and counter-drone exercise in early October 2025 called Cold Start. The purpose is to strengthen air defense capabilities, especially in light of increasing use of unmanned aerial systems UAS in recent conflicts. 2. Heavy rains and flooding disrupt life in Kolkata. Kolkata witnessed one of its worst rainfall events in decades, causing flash floods, severe disruptions to metro, rail, and other transport. 8 people were electrocuted, and the city declared Durga Puja vacations early for schools. 3. Operation Kavach 10.0. Major crackdown in Delhi. Delhi police launched Operation Kavach 10.0, raiding nearly 2,000 locations in 24 hours. Over 6,300 people were taken into preventive custody. There were also a large number of arrests related to narcotics, illegal cigarettes, gambling, arms, and excise violations. Record rain and flooding in Kolkata kills 12 people. Kolkata and surrounding areas received 251.6 millimeters of rain in 24 hours, the highest in a single day since 1988. The flooding caused widespread waterlogging, transport disruption, power outages, and damage to Durga Puja decorations and structures. 2. Cabinet approves 69,725 crore package for shipbuilding and maritime sector. As part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat push, the Union Cabinet cleared this large investment to boost domestic shipbuilding, expand maritime infrastructure, and reduce dependence on imports in the strategic sector. 3. RBI expected to hold repo rate at 5.50% on October 1st. A Reuters poll of 61 economists found 45 expect the Reserve Bank of India to maintain its benchmark repo rate at 5.52% in the upcoming policy meeting, indicating a broad consensus for a steady monetary stance. 1 PM Modi to inaugurate World Food India 2025. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to inaugurate World Food India 2025 at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. The 4-day event will highlight India's strengths in food processing, sustainable agriculture, organic output, and international partnerships in the food sector. 2. Ladakh protests turn violent. 4 dead demonstrations in Ladakh demanding statehood and constitutional safeguards escalated into violence, with reports of police opening fire. At least 4 protesters have died. Rights groups are urging a prompt investigation into the use of lethal force. 3. India set for busiest IPO month in nearly 3 decades. September 2025 is shaping up to be the busiest month for initial public offerings IPOs in India in almost 30 years. Around 25 companies plan to list on the main board, with total capital expected to cross 12,000 crore. This signals renewed investor confidence and strong market sentiment. 1. PM Modi to launch BSNL's indigenous 4G network and commission 97,500 towers. In a push for telecom self-reliance, the Prime Minister will unveil BSNL's homegrown 4G stack. Around 97,500 mobile towers developed in India will be commissioned, enhancing rural connectivity and laying groundwork for future 5G upgrades. 2. India and U.S. describe trade talks as constructive. Early deal. During recent meetings in Washington, Sep 22 to 24, Indian and U.S. officials assessed tariff, trade, and broader economic cooperation issues. India seeks relief from U.S. tariffs, especially on oil and key exports, and hopes to finalize initial terms of an agreement soon. 3. Retirement of India's iconic MiG-21 jets marks end of an era. After nearly 6 decades of service, the Indian Air Force will officially phase out the MiG-21 fleet. The final flypast is a symbolic conclusion to the aircraft's storied history and conflicts, including 1965, 1971, Kargil, and Balakot. PM Modi launches 60,000 crore of development projects in Odisha, touts India among top 5 in world. On the 27th Sept, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated multiple development and infrastructure projects worth around 60,000 crore in Jharsuguda district, Odisha. He used the occasion to highlight India's growing global stature and the role of indigenous technology in national progress. In addition, the government has approved a 70,000 crore investment in the shipping sector, expected to catalyze further economic development. Number 2, New Amrit Bharat Express connects Chhattisgarh to Odisha and Gujarat. The newly flagged-off Amrit Bharat Express now provides a direct rail link between Udna, Gujarat, and Brahmapur, Odisha, passing through Chhattisgarh. This enhances connectivity across east, south, and west zones, reducing dependence on circuitous routes. The move is seen as strategic infrastructure expansion under Make in India and Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas objectives. Number 3, UNESCO adds India's cold desert to its biosphere network. India's 13th such site. India's Cold Desert Biosphere Reserve, spanning parts of Ladakh, Lahaul, and Spiti, has been recognized as the country's 13th UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. This calls attention to the fragile high-altitude ecosystems and India's commitment to sustainable environmental stewardship. 1. Zelensky 1. India vs. Pakistan. Asia Cup 2025 Final. India and Pakistan face off in the final of the Asia Cup 2025 at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium, marking the first time these two neighbors meet in an Asia Cup final. 2. Draft bill to strengthen the Indian Statistical Institute, ISI. The central government unveiled a draft bill aimed at reforming governance at the Indian Statistical Institute by establishing a new empowered board to oversee its policy, administrative, and financial functions. 3. Exercise Suraksha Samve 2025 concludes in Gujarat. The Indian Army wrapped up Exercise Suraksha Samve 2025, a large multi-agency drill in Gandhinagar, focusing on bolstering military-civil coordination in areas like disaster response, cybersecurity, logistics, and maritime security. 1. Moody's reaffirms India's sovereign rating, keeps stable. Outlook global credit rating agency Moody's has affirmed India's long-term sovereign ratings at BBB3, citing the country's strong economic growth, large foreign reserves, and stable domestic funding. It also maintained a stable outlook. The agency, however, warned that the recent tax relief measures could weaken India's revenue base. 2. India-Bhutan cross-border rail project launched under Make in India. India and Bhutan have formally inaugurated their first direct railway connection, a project estimated to cost 4,033 crore. The initiative supports enhanced regional connectivity, trade, and tourism, and is part of India's broader Make in India push. Number 3, Asia Cup Final. India beats Pakistan but refuses trophy presentation. India defeated Pakistan by 5 wickets to win the 2025 Asia Cup. However, political tensions intervened. The Indian side declined to accept the trophy from ACC President and Pakistan's Interior Minister, Mohsin Naqvi. The trophy ceremony was disrupted, and India lodged protest plans with cricket authorities. 1. India extends Export Incentive Scheme, RoDTEP, till March 2026. The central government has extended the remission of duties and taxes on export products, RoDTEP scheme, which refunds certain central, state, and local taxes to exporters. The extension aims to support exports amid global tariff pressures. 2. Above-average monsoon rains for second year in a row. India has received more rainfall than the long-term average for the second consecutive year, with September showing strong precipitation. This has implications for agriculture, water reservoirs, and flood management. In addition, forecasts suggest October may also see above-normal rainfall. Number 3. Imports of gold and silver nearly doubled despite high prices. India's gold and silver imports in September surged, despite record-high prices, as banks and jewelers stock up ahead of the festive season. This could widen the trade deficit and put pressure on the rupee.